I was searching for an illustration for client server, and I found this, which led me to this document about building a multiplayer game, which I found at the Google Developers site. And I thought about multiplayer games. Everybody in the game has to be seeing the same thing. A server somewhere out there on the internet coordinates that. This page comes from the site for a game called Nuclear Bomberman, but all online multiplayer games are like this. And all websites are like this too. Only the activity of all the people using the site doesn't have to be coordinated quite like a game. All the assets have to be stored somewhere though. The assets are the pages and the images and the code that makes stuff interactive, and the code that makes buying stuff secure and banking and paying your bills. The activities of each person who's using the site at one time have to be coordinated so they don't interfere with each other, so that I don't pay for your new hat and you don't get the money I'm trying to pay to American Express. So the actions that are coming out of the client, that is your web browser or your mobile browser or your app, those actions have to be managed. The server, which receives all your requests and responds to each one, can't be allowed to get mixed up or confused. So basically the way this works, and this is just a basic explanation because of course there's a lot more to a banking transaction than there is to watching a video. The way it works is that each thing you click sends one request out to a server somewhere on the web. Then when the server figures out what it is you want, it sends back one response. So it's not only the things you click, it's every separate file that goes into the page. Every image is a separate file. So if a page has 10 images, your client, your browser, is going to make 11 requests one at a time. First the page, then each one of the images, ping, 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 and the server is going to catch each request one at a time and send back that thing. Oh, a page. Oh, an image. Another image. Another image. This is how the web works. And you know, it's not just one server out there. Google alone has like 1 million servers. Every developed country has millions of servers. So how does that work? How are all the servers coordinated? How does the internet know which server to send your request to? You know about URLs, but do you know how to break one apart? Every piece of a URL means something. It's like an address on a package. The request travels to the correct server because of the domain name. The way a package gets delivered to the right country, first of all, and then we can worry about the city after that and the street after that. So when you're making stuff for apps, for the web, for mobile, you need to think about names of files and folders, which are often called directories, because they will be very important in the process of responding to the requests that come to the server. That URL is really the location of a specific document at a specific place on a specific host out there on the web. So one last thing, and that is the IP address. This is important for two reasons. One is that behind every domain name, like apple.com or whitehouse.gov, is a specific 4-part numeric address. Without the IP addresses, there is no internet. But we've run out of numbers. How could we run out? The 4 parts of the address have limits. Each part has only 256 possible numbers, from 0 to 255. That gave us more than 4 billion unique addresses, but we used them all. Or rather, more accurately, they have all been handed out. So there's a new system coming. It's actually already happening, And there are going to be essentially two internets kind of overlapping each other. So I just wanted to mention that there are global organizations, not companies, but really organizations sort of like the United Nations, but for the internet. And they are responsible for managing all the IP addresses and domains, both the old four-part kind and the new ones called IPv6. They do this for all the countries in the world. They are called ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. ICANN runs the world's domain name system, and IANA, the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, which allocates and keeps track of all the IP addresses. The reason I like to mention this is to remind you that the internet is not magic. There was a time when the internet did not exist, and it only exists and works now because people are making it work, and systems and organizations are in place to keep it working. There's no law that says it has to be this way, and there's no guarantee that it will always be there or that it will keep working the way it does now. People who want to make things for the web should know how the internet works. They should also keep their eyes open for news about any changes coming down the road, because changes to how the internet is managed or governed will change the internet that's available for us to use.